and it is an all new Drinks to Words by season 3.
Season 3. Woo!
We did it. We
Who'd have thunk it?
no, no. I mean, of course, this is a season 100 episode 100 thing, but I would have thunk it, um, just because I am a very committed man. So I
Is
know
thunk a word though?
is what.
Is thunk a word? You thunk it?
Yeah, I mean, any word is a word unless it's challenged. Think about all
Travel.
the words that we have created that, granted, are not words, but yet we understand that they are words. Like, I'm trying to think of a word um, that we all have just like created, and it wasn't really
Bay.
a word. What word is that, David?
Bay.
Bay, exactly.
Bay.
Bay is a word.
If it makes it into the Urban Dictionary, it's a word.
Well, not the urban, the actual Webster's dictionary. And I think Bay is in there now. There's a couple words recently that have been added to Webster's dictionary.
What else? Do you have those? Are you now, David?
Those facts, no.
I know you have a few devices now, but do you have your phone on? Are you calling from your phone or from your laptop?
I'm using my phone because the laptop, the lighting is not good. When we do the shows at night, it's hard to use a laptop because I don't have any really good lighting in here.
Gotcha, gotcha. So I was gonna let me grab the Urban Dictionary. Then I have my phone right here, um, and we'll look really quick. Welcome to Drinks to Words by the
It's
way. We're just in it.
it's
I guess because we're just so used to just jumping right in. So before we get into the Urban Dictionary, let's find out what we are drinking, and we're gonna start it off, of course, with Annabelle. Ladies first.
I'll let you guys guess.
I'm guessing a Coors Light.
Woo! Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
ding ding ding.
Oh, you know what? Okay, David, what are you having? And I'm gonna put you in full screen because I'm going from my Wi-Fi. I forgot to connect what they call jack in to the internet. So I'm just gonna do that really quick. And
Yeah.
what are you having? And if it's a beer that you just found, I would like a review.
It's not that I just found, but it is a beer that I'm having. Incline IPA from the uh Garbage Brewing Company. It's a 7.5% beer.
Wait, wait, but you have to tell the story about how the label was mislabeled.
Oh, the fact that like it's an up and coming company. So I was drinking one of these beers and I started peeling off like the label of the beer that I'm drinking, and the label was actually the label. There was a label underneath. So I guess instead of what mistake they made, that they put the wrong beer inside the wrong can, they had to wrap that can with a new label of an entirely different type of beer. Shout outs to saving a buck.
Rather than recanning it, they just slapped a label on
Yeah,
it.
That's pretty
slap a
smart.
new label on it. Yeah, you gotta make do. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it's it's a good beer. It's not uh, it's a little hoppy. This one is a little bit more hoppy than say like the Voodoo Imperial. Uh, but it's got a good bold flavor. I like something that you're drinking. Not like of course like where
Ahem,
you
ahem,
don't
ahem.
yeah where it's like it's just like thirst quenching water, colored water.
That's cool. All
There's
right.
nothing wrong with quenching my thirst. Albert, you know you always join me in Coors Light every time you're over.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm totally down for Coors Light. And I think the season our last season, I could say that season 2. I think after we hung up, I believe the following day I went and I bought some Coors Lights and I had some. I believe in your honor. So yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm,
I mean, I'm not opposed to Coors Lights. Just every now and then, you got to. But again, I'm that guy at the bar that is always switching it up when I drink, all the time, just because my palate gets bored. So I don't know if that's a gift or not. You know what I mean? If that's like a secret power or not. But
Yeah, there's a huge difference. Like when you move end when you're trying to end with martini time, it's a okay. We know what kind of Albert we're getting.
I know I haven't had a
If you
martini
st-
in forever.
if you start martini time, we're okay. When you try to end with martini time, it was a long road traveled to get to that to get the martini time. It
Yeah.
included mango carts and gin and scotcho. It's before you get to martini time.
Yeah, I miss martini time. Again, me trying to cut back on my alcohol because I believe our last show I brought out the gin and I just went through that entire bottle. I'm not saying that I'm not proud of that, but like there has to be
we
some
had
sort
a
of
we had a very interesting after show.
yeah. And
Yeah,
so I was like, you know what? I need to not just drink bottles because that's just not it's not
It's a bit much, yeah.
and it's expensive too. But even granted, I mean, it was the New Amster gin, which is like $20, But yeah, but I brought out. I had okay, so we're gonna go over this in a minute, and of course, you guys right now watching on the YouTube channel. And by the way, we are on YouTube, so feel free to subscribe to us and to get to our channel. Just click on to drinkstowardsby.com and then you'll see the YouTube banner. Go ahead and click there, and it'll take you to all of our shows that we've done. And it has been quite the intriguing way that we are now being seen. And of course, I have issues with that because I'm like, what am I gonna wear? What's gonna go good? And the other thing is just my background, just because I'm not comfortable with everybody seeing where I live. So I always put a different background. Well, I mean, usually it's my recording studio, but this is the photo in the background that you see that of where I was at. I actually took off for a bit and went to Arizona. But before we get into that, this is kind of has to deal with that is we bought some beer for everybody that was, with us on the trip and there was leftover beer. So I'm like, I took it. And so my leftover beer is Modelo
hello.
Especial. So I thought I'd
So
just
you went to Arizona
yes.
and you didn't explore like Arizona beer, like one of their like state broods. Like you never like go try the other states' beer.
I would, you know what? That would have been a smart idea, David. But we went to one of their local grocery stores. What was it called? It was called Gary's. And it was like really their supermarkets there are really nice. And we just went there and we had to find something that everybody would like. So we couldn't kind of veer off the path um and do that. Although I should have thinking about the show, coming back in season 3, that would have been a much smarter idea. But sometimes I just don't think that clearly.
I I get it. It was you had to get group beer, but it's like kind of like sometimes when you go to a family function or a party, you're gonna bring alcohol, but you're gonna bring the alcohol you like. Now that's to say that no people can drink from your stock, but you know that you have what you want to drink. Because you may not have the beer that you want. Like you go to a a Mexican party, they're probably not gonna have Coors Lights. You have to bring Coors Light.
Yeah.
It's either gonna be Modelo, Corona, or Bud Light.
Yeah.
So you're gonna bring your own Coors. But
Yeah.
that's it's just like, you want gin. We've discussed the fact that you might have to bring gin to a party
Yeah.
because
Oh no,
most people are
I
not gonna
definitely
have gin.
do. I was at a we'll we'll get into that right now. But just remind me about the Urban Dictionary. We'll get into that in a moment. But just like at every bar, you begin one story, then you got to pause that story, and then circle back to it. But just remind
That
me.
is the basis of our entire show.
Yeah, yeah. But just remind me, just because sometimes I forget. You know what I mean? And that is the basis of me. Is sometimes I'm just into the thing, so I just forget. But so there's my background right there of me going to Arizona, and well, Arizona is weird because it's like it's funny because just like Perseverance landed on Mars, I truly felt I was on the red planet there. The similarities were so the same, and I did feel like Perseverance just kind of like going around there and just hovering, seeing if there's any signs of intelligent life. Uh, and
I was gonna say because the sand is red, but apparently not.
dude, the sand here, I mean, the sand in Arizona, it's all red. My clothes
Yeah.
got super messed up. Thank God I wasn't
Yeah, but
wearing
then
white or
you
anything.
started talking about intelligent life, and so I was like, okay, it has nothing to do with sand.
Yeah. And I went to a bar there, and it was kind of like a local bar there. I believe it was called Robbie's, and it was a bar restaurant where kind of everybody knew each other. Here I am all masked up, and there's no masks like going on. They're doing everything that you're not supposed to be doing. They're doing karaoke. You know what I mean, to the max, and like everyone's just running around. All the kids are putting their hands on all the tables. It was interesting. I was like, so this is Arizona. It was, I mean, but nothing against. So, I mean, I'm trying to think too, and I was putting myself into their mindset, which is, again, at a regular bar, a lot of stuff kind of just flies. Where it's like, yeah, we all know each other, so we all feel safe. But at the same time, here I come, like, the outsider coming in, like, and I'm like, do I
Well,
have
that's the
COVID
whole
or
thing of
whatever?
like the second household, like I used to say work was like my second household. Like I wasn't concerned with people that I used to work with because I figured we're all doing the same thing. But then there's the outsider, Albert.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, it was, I got a little anxiety, but I asked the waitress, I'm like, oh, do you have any gin? What's your gin selection like? She looked at me weird, like, what gin? And I'm like,
Like zero.
yeah, but
Like go to the liquor store down the street.
as if as if you would have it. So she went, she's like, yeah, we have she said all these ones, and the only one that and they were all just the standards, except they didn't have Bombay. And not that I'm a Bombay person, but
That's like the standard for gin.
that and Tanqueray. But I'm slowly learning, or at least I'm slowly feeling that Tanqueray just seems to be the middle road for gin. I think they had Seagrams too, and I was like,
I would
no,
have
no.
I would have thought Beefeater is like the standard. Tanger or Beefeater are like those are the two
Yep.
that like they have to
Well,
have.
no, no. Coming from a person that doesn't really drink gin, I would say Tanqueray, Bombay, like those would probably be the only names that I would recognize if I didn't try anything else.
They did have
Mhm.
Beefeater. They did have Beefeater, and I was just
Oh,
like,
okay.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'll do Tanqueray. I wasn't feeling the Beefeater there. So yeah, so going there was interesting. I spent how many days did I spend there? I spent it was 2 days, 2 nights. So we got there Friday, about 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and then the whole thing too was, I was kind of going along on this trip. I got invited. I didn't really not that I didn't want to go, but I was like, man, I don't know. Me leaving California and going to another state, and COVID's happening, and I don't know how to feel about that. Or, what does Arizona feel like? But I had to get out of my comfort zone, and I hadn't been out of my house really, unless you call like going to the grocery store out of the house. So I'm like, well, this is like me going to the grocery store, but like far away.
Out of state.
Yeah, out of state grocery store. So I was like, all right, I gotta do something, with my time, especially because we were on break. We took that time off, and and I was like, all right, let's do it. So we drove up there, and it's like a 6 hour. This is my second time to Arizona. The first time I went to go visit the Grand Canyon, and that was cool. But we only did it, we did a turnaround trip. So we went there that night, did it, and then came back like literally like the next day. And that was. I mean, the Grand Canyon's so grand, you know what I mean. So there's like a lot to do. But I always just say, well, it's just a big hole. It's a very manly thing. We're just looking at it like, yep, that's a hole. Yep, it's big.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
But there's
That's
so much
that's
to
that's down there.
explore there. Like, I mean, there's a lot going on there. You should, well, when things open up, actually, Arizona's open up enough to where are they doing tours of the Grand Canyon?
yeah. Arizona is like
Well, they
almost
were open
open
up
up.
like from the
Well,
beginning.
no, because actually, a friend of mine, had posted that they were going to the Grand Canyon, and and they were asking for do's and don'ts. So I said, don't fall in,
It's
because
definitely
yeah. But they said apparently the Grand Canyon, only like the southern part of the Grand Canyon's open. Like that's the only part that you can go and visit. I don't know where the distance is. Like I don't know like the actual measurements of like how far is the north from the south.
right, right.
It's like
Well, a lot of it has to do with the Grand Canyon is so big that you have to take buses from one end to the next, or just if you want to go to the next stop. So I'm assuming they just don't want to put that many people in that close proximity on a
yeah.
bus and stuff like that. So yeah. So again, I'm hopping along on this excursion to Arizona, Sedona specifically. And part of me too is curious, as far as, because I know the Dodgers are going to start their spring training, so a little bit was like, okay, it's somewhere around here. So in my mind, I'm like, what's the drive like? What is, if I want to go check out spring training because they're opening it up for a limited capacity of 25%. And I've always wanted to go to spring training and go check it out. And maybe this is not the year to do it. Maybe I'll do it next year. But it's still getting me in that mindset. Like I've said before, kind of the way my mind works and the way I work is just doing those small steps at a time to kind of prepare me for things and get me ready. So I met. There was six of us. There was three guys, three females, and they were going to go hiking. And I'm like, okay, hiking is, I'm fine with that. I can go hike. So that night, we went out. It was just me. It was the boys. It was me, this guy Victor, and my buddy Juan. We all went out to that bar to go eat because I was starving, and that's where I was just drinking, and I was drinking a lot, just because I hadn't had so much different types of alcohol around me, and so I was just drinking a lot, and then they were not really drinking that much. We get back, and then I brought a flask of scotch, and I'm drinking that, and before you know it, I'm asleep, and it's time to get ready to go to this, to this trail, to this hike. And these guys that I went with are not serious hikers, but they've been hiking for a while, and they're kind of more prepared, I should say, in doing this. But the person that is me is, like, well, it's a hike, it's not really crazy, it's just a trail. So we finally get there, and it's about an hour away. We get there, and we start doing the trail, and then all of a sudden, about a mile in, the trail then stops, and you look up because the trail goes up. And by up, I mean now this hike has become rock climbing. And I was not prepared for that. I was like, wait, here I am, half hungover, But and to be fair, they didn't know either because they're just like, oh, let's go to Cathedral Rock. It's cathedrals in the name, like you know what I mean. I'm like, yeah, that's because you could die. You know what I mean from this place. It's where they're gonna bury you. And so they're like, we came
Say your
this.
last right.
Yeah, they're like, well, we came this far. Let's just hike on up and see what this is all about. And I'm just like, oh shit, all right. So we go, and literally this hike, guys, is really. I mean, anybody could do it, but dude, I mean, it takes a lot out of you, which again I was not ready for. I'm just gonna just be like, dude, this was not expected. And there are parts of it where you're doing the rock, and I am literally crawling up using my hands, my knees, crawling up, and I get about 3/4 of the way there, and that's when the not the fatigue, but the drinks kick in. You know what I mean? The hangover just starts happening, and I'm just like, you know what, guys, I think I'm good. I'm like, had I known about this, or had we discussed this, I'm like, I don't know. I wouldn't have partied on Friday like this was just a walk. I would have taken this way more
Yeah.
seriously.
You were thinking California hike where it's like just going through a park, like the moms doing these hikes. This was in Arizona, like
Well,
a
what made it
hike.
worse is as I'm like going down, but luckily there was another person who she just wasn't prepared for this either, and she was just like, dude, like she's like, I can't do this anymore. But she stopped a little bit before me, so I'm like, well, I'll just go pick her up, and then we'll just like go down together. And the everyone else was like, all right, cool, and they just went like like I'm talking like Tom Cruise, with chalk in their hands, going up, you know what I mean, Mission Impossible 2 status. And I'm just like, what the hell, you know what I mean? And to make matters worse, as I'm like going down with this other girl, her name is Charlene, as we're walking down, I see dogs, like little chihuahuas, like going up the hill. I see like moms with like two kids on their back, like just
Like
just
anti-gravity chihuahuas.
yeah. And I just feel so like, oh, I'm an idiot. Like
No, no, no,
Defeated.
no.
yeah.
You're not. Okay, no, no. When my one of my old coworkers and I went to Hawaii, we went through we were trying to get into this waterfall, right? And it's like somebody got smart and actually put a rope that you had to like pull yourself up and, go into this waterfall because it was like a locals place. And so me and her are looking at it like we can't climb this wall, and then we see somebody like dig up that rope and they're pulling across. So, same thing. Mom with kid on her back, just like, chugging over this rope to get to this gorgeous waterfall. And we're over here like, well, fuck.
Yeah.
She made it look so easy with her kid on her back.
Yeah. Another addendum to this trip was, I was like, oh, I could go do photography. So I brought my camera, but luckily I brought my not so good camera. I have two cameras. I have a camera that I use professionally when I get hired for gigs and for weddings and whatnot. And then I have my other camera, which was my first camera, which was just kind of like my fun camera, like, you know, like like I can take with me, and if I get robbed, I just laugh at them and be like, go ahead, rob me. You know what I mean? You have a shitty camera, you know what I mean? So, but I have to prepare for stuff like that. So I was like, okay, but there was like sand everywhere and dust storms and shit. And when I started climbing, I was like, my camera became a hindrance. And I was just like, dude, I'm like, this camera's getting dinged up, so I had to put it in my Camelback and put it in the back and use it. So like, I took a few, like very few photos. I believe it was like 28 photos that I took of the entire trip, and the one that you're seeing is one of them that I took in the back. And so anyway, that was just a little side addendum of another reason why, because I wanted to
Oh,
shoot photography and stuff like that, because I dig that stuff. And so we get back down, and then like 2 hours later, everybody comes back down, and by then I'm like cold, because I'm like, dude, I'm like, like when you're climbing, you're hot and stuff, but now that we've been just waiting, I'm freezing. And they finally come back down. They're like, all right, that was great. Oh my god, it was this and that. And they're like some people were like, yeah, I meditated for like 30 minutes, and I'm just like, what? Like you had us waiting down here, and and then they're like, all right, let's go, let's go back to the car. And I'm like, yes, let's go back to the car. And then they're like, all right, now we're gonna go do another trail. And I'm like, what? You want to do another trail? They're like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm starving. I'm like, for breakfast I had soup. Like none of us knew that this was gonna happen. Yeah, I had trail mix, but I'm like, I blazed through that. Like the first hour of like the rock climbing, and they're like, all right. So then we all split off really quick, and then we all went to go eat, and then we met at another trail, which was way like easier. There was like no mountains, no nothing. It was literally a nice peaceful trail. And I was like, oh my god, like why didn't we do this first? Like, you know what I mean? Like this I could have done day for days, you know what I mean? And so we do that. And I went with some people, and three of the girls that were there were empaths, and that was the first time I ever learned about empaths. Do you guys know about empaths?
it sounds
Are they the
familiar.
ones
I'm not going
that
to.
no, they're the ones that can feel your emotions, right?
Yeah, which I was just like, you didn't feel my emotions going up that rock? Like, what the hell? Like,
You're not very good.
yeah, you need to switch around those you know empathy empathicisms, or
Man, you
whatever.
didn't see my aura screaming.
I know. Some empaths you are, but yeah, that was
So
my
all three of them are empaths.
yeah. And so they were like super into what do they call them? Oh, man, I earlier today I was talking with David, and I had this whole vortexes. They were into vortexes, and what a vortex is and this is why they wanted to come to Arizona, is that Arizona is known to have all these different types of vortexes, um, basically these energy fields that are really awesome. And so they wanted to go just like feel all these energy fields. So they had a bunch of these vortexes that they wanted to do in one day. And I'm like, you guys can't just spread them out. And so we went to that second place for that vortex. And when we got back, they're like, we're going to the third vortex. I'm like, what? Again? It's like these guys, I mean, bless them, you know what I mean? I mean, that's cool that's the stuff that they're into. And they really know how to pack a day in. But at some point in this vacation, I'm like, when does the fun happen? Like, don't get me wrong. I
You
mean,
know what? Maybe that one girl was an empath and that's why she stopped knowing that you were gonna stop and come back for her.
maybe that could be. The other ones were like, oh, we're fine because we have the other people there
Oh,
too. That could be it too.
that's that's a stretch. She felt your pain. She knew you were going to give up.
Well, no,
Okay.
empaths are different though. They don't sympathize, they feel your pain. They feel your emotions. Like it's different, right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. But again, this is my first experience with somebody that's an empath, or a few people that are empaths, I should say. And they're like,
You went from sapiosexuals to empath.
I know.
You're just beating them.
What's the world saying, Albert? You need to experience the spectrum of females that are out there. So yeah, but by then my other buddy that I came with, his knee was all messed up, and he's like, I'm going home, and I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I'll just go with you because we took two cars, and they went off again to their next vortex, and I'm just like, whoa, dude, whoa. They're in. I don't quote me on this, but they were into aliens, and later on that night we were supposed to go to another vortex and try to make contact with aliens, but everybody was so exhausted, or at least they were getting my exhaustion and feeling it, and they're like, yeah, we're not going to do that. And that was interesting. Then the next morning, me and my buddy, it was time for us to leave, to head back, because I was a little shitting it, because I do have a fish named Dr. Manhattan, and I went and I bought these pills where you put in, they're good for like 7 days of food, but I'm
The
like,
feeders.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm like, is this even real? Like, you know what I mean? So I was
It's just a slowly dissolving pill, but you never know if it works or not, you know? It's like the little tablets that you throw in and they slowly dissolve, but who knows if it actually works or not?
exactly. So I wanted to come back home and at least feed Dr. Manhattan, give him a meal to come back. But this was also my first time um being able to sleep with people around me. And it really gets you thinking about your morning routine, because my morning routine is so, oh man, what's the word I'm looking for? It's just so confined. Maybe is the word that I'm looking for. Where it's like I just wake up and I literally don't. I mean, I don't talk to anybody unless I have an interview, but that's not till like 11 o'clock. So I'm literally silent all day. And if I don't have an interview, then I can go days, without speaking to anybody, unless it's like through text, But I don't consider that using my voice. So there are times where I just don't talk to anybody. I go days, and not
I've
only.
done that with the whole work from home thing before to where I literally have not spoken a word. David's
Yeah. So this was my first time dealing with kind of all that. And I was like, oh, I was like, this is strange. And where I was sleeping in the living room, and right next to the kitchen. So as soon as everybody woke up, and they were all go getters, waking up like at 6:30, 6 in the morning to go do all their stuff. And I'm not used to waking up to at least 9, maybe 10 o'clock, and they're making breakfast, cooking, all this clutter, and it's just like, oh my god, like, this is what it's like to live with other people. I don't think I can. This is not for me. It was really interesting, just to get myself out of that kind of norm of just being by yourself and having that whole routine and just kind of shaking things up. So that was kind of.
Is it more the fact like you haven't been with somebody, like, I mean, because you've been alone for so long that you're just so used to your own routine? Because I could say that, because I mean, you know, I've I've been, you know on my own, and then living with Annabelle, it gets it was a whole new thing. Like, what time does she get up? Do I like I wait in bed till she wakes up, or like if she wakes, like, I'm tired, so it's one of those, like, what do you do to fit into somebody else's schedule without disturbing your own for too much?
Exactly.
That didn't take very long, though. In our situation, it was different. It was like, "Hey, I gotta get up for work," and he'd still be in bed, so I'm just like, "Alright, here, kiss goodbye. Gotta go to work." But I get the awkwardness. It's just like, "Do I still lay here? Do I leave?" What do we do?
And not only that, but like, what do I wear to sleep? You know what I mean? I'm so used to not wearing a shirt and
I
sleeping.
think that's a little bit more awkward for girls than it is for guys.
Well, I don't know, man. Like, I mean, I've seen my body, and I'm just like, oh my god, like this is. I don't know. I don't know if anybody's ready to see this. So that was
I
weird.
feel you.
Wearing a shirt to sleep, and being all feeling all constricted and whatnot. So it was. I mean, you I guess you got to do that. You got to put yourself out of your norm, and granted, I am glad to be back at home, but it was an interesting experience. I don't even want to call it a vacation, of more of if it was just me getting outside of my comfort zone with other people. Especially, these are all brand new people that have entered my life. So a lot of it is I not that I have to make a good impression, but it's just like, oh, like, and I came upon, these are my buddy's friends, so it's like, I don't know, like, he vouched for me, so I gotta make a really good
Yeah,
impression.
that's another thing when like it's somebody else's group, and then you don't want to disturb the group, so you can't even like totally be yourself completely because you're trying to like kind of read the room type of thing, like because there's gonna be like those inside jokes that you don't get, and the fact that they're way more energetic in in the morning than you are. Like, oh, okay, we're doing this now, huh? All right, okay. Let me
Exactly.
wake up without waking up. Yeah, I feel you.
Exactly. So it was definitely something interesting. But that was my first trip that I took in like 2 years, and it was funny because the last trip that I took was again to Arizona for the Grand Canyon. So, which of course, but it was a very different time, clearly, than now. But I will say this: I did eat inside. There was indoor dining galore. So. That was interesting. It was just like, oh my god, here I am eating inside. Wow, such luxury. You know what I mean?
This is how the other half lives.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I was at. But going back to the Urban Dictionary, coming full. That was
Bring it back
my
around.
yeah, that was my trip experience, and and everything. But going back to the Urban Dictionary, what did we say? We said words that have that we invented, that are now actual words. Karen, being a Karen. That's a word, but we only associated it as a name. Now it is an adjective. You
It
know,
is.
it is. Let's see. Let's see what's trending. Ghetto spread is trending right now.
What is the definition of ghetto spread?
Let's find out. Let's Ghetto spread is what you make in jail when you can't afford the ingredients for real spread.
Okay.
All right. That's interesting. Let's see. Uh, there's Dirk. I have no idea what that is. Durk, and it's a Neanderthal patriarch responsible for the great two 20,000 BC fire party, having discovered wine and a fire close in proximity. Dirk threw one hellacious, rootin' wild cave party. Three-fourths of the known world attended. Well, of course, it was a three-fourths of the world because it was 20,000 BC. There was only like 40 people. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so
So I actually looked up the not the Urban Dictionary, but the actual dictionary, and
you mean the real dictionary?
the real dictionary, the one that everybody who's not ghetto uses. Uh, I guess 12 funniest new words added to the dictionary in 2020.
Okay.
And one of them is a sharent, which is a noun slash verb. A parent who frequently uses social media to share photos of other details about their child. That's a lot of people.
But no. But don't they have to put like proud mother or proud father alert? Like they have to hashtag
Yeah,
that.
yeah, they always do the proud aunt and then they repost somebody else's post and like, oh, proud mom or proud aunt or proud grandmother
Yeah,
or proud friend.
they got to do the alerts. Well, now this one has a word of the day, and today's word of the day is Fauci, which is a unit of length. And let's all guess what the unit of length is.
One short man.
What is the word?
See, Fauci,
Yeah, I mean, what does it say is the actual length? I mean, like it's five. You're a
six
Fauci.
feet.
You're five.
It's 6 feet because Dr. Fauci and his whole 6 feet apart. Okay,
You are correct. I didn't even think about that.
like come on, that's
Yeah.
It's a Fauci. I need
yeah.
I need I need you to step a Fauci back.
Yeah, you need to get 5 Faucis away from me immediately. The ball was kicked at the Fauci yard line. Um, let's see. Let's see
That's
what
funny.
else I could see. Uh, let's see the they have an alphabet mafia, which is a way cooler term for the LGBTQIA plus community. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. That's what they are.
They're the alphabet mafia.
Yes,
Because they've taken all the letters for themselves.
I mean, wouldn't they be the consonant? I mean, because
Well,
they're
yeah,
not.
they don't have any vowels,
Yeah, so they'd be
do
like
they?
the consonant mafia. I would say. Oh no, they do have an A and an I.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Okay, it's
Now
sometimes
they do
why.
it because they've
Yeah.
added it.
Oh man. So yeah. What? Okay. This. I just saw this one, and this is smash the guitar. Do you know
What
what
is
that
smash the
means?
guitar?
I don't want to know.
Not for the Urban Dictionary. No.
Okay, yes, this is for the Urban Dictionary. To masturbate vigorously, as if romancing one's beloved guitar. Common among musicians and college freshmen. Man,
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Smashing the guitar is romancing the guitar.
well, I don't know
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Hey, I was like, hey, I'll be back. I'm gonna go. Play a riff.
yeah. I mean, what's
So
gonna?
Not quite smashing the guitar, but playing a rift.
Yeah, but I have three
yeah,
guitars. You like people are gonna think like I don't know, weird of me. I have one
yeah,
acoustic, two electric.
I'm gonna do a guitar solo. I'll be back.
Yeah,
See, that sounds a little bit better than specials are going. Like I need uh, guitar solo. So here's what I got. One that's funny. So this was actually in the dictionary. Beardo.
oh yeah. Dude, I not saying I invented that, but I commonly referred to that as all the beardos out there. The people that have beards. Yep.
It's a noun, a nickname for a person with a beard. Jesus Christ.
No, it's a weirdo with it's the creeper with the beard.
Well, they necessarily have to
Weirdo.
be creepers. Let's not give them that.
Well, you wouldn't associate the eardo with the beard unless they were a weirdo.
Yeah. So
No, well, I mean, I would most weirdos have mustaches, so it's like you know, I would say the mustache guys are a little weirder than the beard guys. Trying to protect my boy here.
yeah. Well, yeah. Well, speaking of weirdos, let's talk about Winnie the Pooh sex.
Oh, you brought it up.
I saw you posted that, and I was just like, oh, I
I
gotta write
didn't
that
post
down.
it. I just was it. Matt actually asked me because I've said it before. The Winnie the Pooh sex, as you know, as and I want to say, when you're young and vibrant and new and like sex, you just rip all your clothes off and you don't care where it lies and other shit. But as you get older and you got kids, you can't take off all your clothes. So you you have sex with just like your shirt on, so you have no
That's
bottoms. You're looking like Winnie the Pooh.
I don't know, man. I mean, not that I've had sex, but like I would have to take off my shirt. Like I sleep with my shirt off. You know what I mean? So that would it just seems too constricting. You know?
But
Have you had
it's
Winnie the Pooh
sometimes
sex?
it's huh?
Have you had Winnie the Pooh
Yes,
sex?
yes. Wait, like I said, you know, sometimes when there's kids, you have to pull the under the cover thing. You're not gonna fucking. It looks less conspicuous if you have a shirt on. You're because you're underneath the covers or something, or you're busting the quickie, so you can't do all the you take all the clothes off because you're gonna like I gotta dress quick.
But that doesn't work with.
And then sometimes you're just as you get older, like you said, you start feeling kind of self-conscious about your body. You're not seeing the bottom part, you're seeing the top parts. I'm telling you, the people, our listeners, if anybody thinks I'm wrong, I'm telling you, anybody who has kids or anything is older than where we were when we first started having sex, you have the Winnie the Pooh sex.
If you're
Telling you.
having Winnie the Pooh sex, email us drinkstowardsby@gmail.com or just slide in a DM or leave a comment. Let us know that you Winnie the Pooh when you sex. And that should be in the Urban Dictionary to bring it all full
Yeah.
circle. I mean, let's,
Winnie the Pooh is when you're having sex with your shirt on.
yeah,
Bottomless, sitting there, sitting there wanting some honey.
yeah. I was like, man, that is insane. Um, uh,
Because we all got beer guts and stuff. You don't feel as sexy.
yeah,
Get the as I said to somebody. Now you got the stump under the bump.
yeah. I mean, this isn't helping. You know, this whole me drinking beer right now is not helping. I
Yeah,
mean, I've done my best to curb the carbs, um, and although on this vacation I went total carbaceous.
overload.
Yeah, I went carb overload. I did because I wanted a BLT A. I wanted a BLT AC or BLT CA, which the C was the cheese, and that threw off the BLT.
Yeah,
I like cheese,
I'll
but
give you. I'll give you the A. The C. No, not on the BLT.
yeah, yeah, never again. I did it because I'm like maybe this is the way Arizona does it, and I was like they're not doing it right. Another odd thing, real quick, to just to go back to Arizona, but another odd thing is I didn't see any Dodger fans out there. It was so odd. I'm like, so wow, you guys are really Diamondback fans. That was an odd an odd thing. I was watching TV. They had their hockey team playing, and they had the Phoenix Suns on, and it's just like wow, like they're into it.
I mean, yeah, you're in another state. You're in the area. They're going to be fans of that.
I thought that was interesting. Another interesting thing is my name is now on Mars. Yeah.
So explain that, like, because they launched Perseverance what 9 years ago?
No, they launched it 2019,
Oh, it was two. It was
2
technically
years
two
ago.
years ago.
Yeah. So a few years ago, I found out that I forgot how I found out too. I think I was working at my current job. I think I barely got there, and yes, this is yeah, that's right because I went to see when I did it, and it was in October of 2019, and I was looking to see if I talked about this, but that was at the end of our first season, and so we were on a break, and so NASA has this program, and maybe I'll put the link. I'll put the link on the show notes if anybody else is interested, because I did it a few times. Because my next time that my name will be there is in 2026. Is scheduled for the next time that my name is going to be there. But NASA has a program where you can put in your name, and they take up to like 200,000 names to put on like a little, like, disc or whatever, and it goes to Mars in the little uh, robot that they send out there, because they're doing this to create more awareness, so people have more of a connectivity to the those robots that are out there on Mars. So I thought that was an interesting way to
Okay, so basically, your name is like on a little fucking drive
yeah, on a
with
flash
a bunch
drive.
of other people's names
Yeah,
on a flash drive and it just stays on Perseverance. They're not like dropping it in like on Mars and letting it soak up into the dust or anything. It's literally inside Perseverance. Your name
yeah,
is inside Perseverance.
yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
so if aliens come and they download that, you're gonna die.
Dude, no. How do you know? They may fall in love with me. They may think this is the list of the most important people on Earth, and we need to save these people. So we don't even know. I'm hoping I get probed, because I haven't been probed in forever. So
You want to do the probing. You want to probe. You don't
oh,
want to be
got it,
probed.
got it, got it, got
Yeah,
it. But I mean,
yeah.
after
There's another Urban Dictionary, pegging.
I found out about that so, like, weird. I was doing a I was doing
I can't wait for this.
I was doing a photography for this event. At the time, I was doing live events with I'm not gonna go too into detail, because then people find out some stuff. But I was doing some live events, interviewing bands and doing photography for this little company. And one of the photographers I had known from other shoots that we kind of worked together for this company. And she's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, yeah." She's like, "Me and my fiance right now into pegging," and I'm just like, "What? What is that?" You know what I mean? Like, does that have to do with like saving
With
money, or
your
like,
naivete. Oh,
yes?
hey.
And, and then she told me, and I go, "What? That's a thing?" I wonder if is that in the Urban Dictionary? Yeah, yeah, it
Oh,
has to be, right?
I am dead sure that that is in the Urban Dictionary.
Okay.
Pegging.
What are the odds? Let's see. Pegging. All right. Yes, it is. It is. Okay. Yes, it is. Okay. Yeah. That's the definition. Okay. Yeah, it is.
Yep, there it is, sir.
There
I
it
told
is.
you. I
Okay.
knew it was gonna be.
So yeah, so that was
It's
an
gotten. I mean,
to each their
to
own.
each their own.
Each
To
their
each
own.
their own.
I
You know,
mean,
I don't judge. I don't judge. We
that
all
that
have weird things. We all have our things.
I mean, to some that's probing. You know what I mean? So
There's a couple terms that revolve around similar things like that. Uh, I'll stick to the Winnie the Pooh.
yeah, that's what you're going to be known for.
Yeah, I'll stick to Winnie the Pooh.
So yeah, so if you guys want to go ahead and get your name or your kid's name or whatever, you know what I mean? Maybe next time I'll put the bar's name on there. I'll put the link on drinkstowardsby.com, and go ahead and from there you can do it. But again, I did it again, and my next time my name is going to go up there is 2026. So it fills up fast. because this is kind of a, I don't know. I think that's a cool thing. Do you think that's a cool thing?
I do. I mean, I I mean, if you really love space and because I know people are doing those like you buy a constellation or you buy a star,
Yeah,
like that's your star. I don't understand how that works because I mean, like you don't know who else got the same star.
I know.
But anyway, it's like, but I mean, it's cool. I mean, if it makes you like you said, like if it makes you feel closer to the sky, to science, space, however you want to make you feel, man. If anything that makes you feel good or you like, do it. You know, outside of anything illegal. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and say serial killers just kill because it makes you happy. Uh, but I don't know. I mean, I guess it's not something that I go out of my way for. Like, is there a price tag on this?
No, it's free. It's free.
Free.
It just takes like 2 minutes, to
Yeah.
register and put it out there. So I would highly encourage people to go do that. I am attracted to space. I really do enjoy that. I've always been into the sci-fi of things. Though, except for the first Star Trek, I didn't like the first Star Trek. I did like the Next Generation. That was my Star Trek. The first one, no,
Yeah,
but
I'm a big generation. I'm a Picard guy.
yeah,
Jean Luc.
yeah, Jean Luc. That, which, by the way, and hopefully 10 years from now, when hopefully if I me and Doctor Manhattan have a great relationship and I don't kill him, Jean Luc will probably be the name of my next fish. But I mean, Doctor Manhattan's doing good, so I'm excited
Yeah.
for all that going on.
I'm a big sci-fi guy too, and other. But I always wonder like why we haven't done more with the moon. We landed there 50 years ago, and I'm just like, we could do more there than worry about going to Mars, right? Like set up a little base. You would figure that you set up a base now. Try your space stuff on the moon before you try your stuff in Mars because it takes so much longer. I mean,
What
why have we boycotted the moon?
It's not that we haven't boycotted. Maybe we've had this discussion, or maybe I've had it with somebody else. But there's a fun fact about the moon that many people don't know, and that is the dust on the moon. Anytime you kick up dust, it's not regular dust. It is essentially knives, because it's so sharp that if it cuts any part, it can literally cut your suit. So
Ah,
there's kind of that thing going on, which I'm not saying Mars has that or not, but there is that fact, and I do think that Mars is going to be more of like LAX. I mean, not Mars, but the moon is going to be LAX as far as when we start colonizing. Because in all honesty, I think that's what's really what this is about, is the colonization of other habitable planets. And when we do start colonizing, I think the moon will just be like okay, now we're going to launch it to the moon, and then from there, we're going to launch it to the next stratosphere of wherever else you guys are going, type thing.
see, I would have thought the space station would have been that. I would think the space station is like the first is their first stop. You dock, you have lunch.
No, the
you
space
know,
station is small. The space station only holds like 12 people. I want to say six Americans and six Russians. So,
I don't.
and
That's not
that's for testing.
small, really.
And that's purely for testing. And I personally think just kind of they're just looking out into the world, and kind of our radar for any meteors. Of course, this is all speculation, you know what I mean? But that's what I
It
think.
won't happen in our lifetime.
I don't
It's
know.
not gonna happen in our lifetime.
Well, it's not, but the precursors will. As far as I mean, did you know? about this program called the Viking Program. So the Viking Program happened in 1972, and we actually that was our first probe that we sent out to Mars. So we've already established some sort of connection with Mars in 1972. It's just now that our technology and everything like that is advanced, now we can send more things. And Mars again, I wonder if Mars is going to get its own electoral vote because it's inhabited by like 6 robots. So it's truly a robot planet at this point. So I wonder if there's going to be more. And I speculate there will because in 2026 is the next mission that I know of. There might be some more before that.
That's I'm just thinking in the worst case sci-fi movie where all the robots we send up there are going to band together and come back and kill us all.
I don't think. I mean,
You're just gonna leave me out here, huh? You're just gonna throw me away, huh? All right, fuck.
well, it is going to be interesting when we do because okay, one thing I do know is in 2026 supposedly we're going to start terraforming Mars. This is common knowledge. This should be what people know. But in 2026 we're going to start. So what that means is we are going to send a nuclear blast to hit Mars and create an atmosphere there.
That's just not smart.
Well, I mean, nobody lives there. We don't even know. You know what I mean? So, I mean, this is interesting. So it's essentially we're recreating the Big Bang Theory there, and to see if we can start terraforming, building atmospheres and stuff like that to create a habitable planet for humans.
Doesn't seem. I don't know. Again, I am not here to judge anybody and what they're going to do because the people who are thinking this up are much smarter than I am. You know, so obviously they've run their scenarios and think it's plausible. I just again, I don't see much happening within my lifetime uh, before we start doing. Like it'd be great to explore the idea of Star Trek worlds and like everything's clean and the world's perfect and we're going to space to explore, but ultimately,
That may happen. We don't know. You know what I mean?
okay,
That's why they've been sending, like they did a test with twins. So they sent one twin out into space, and of course, the other twin stood here, and they kind of put him through the same rigorous, tests and stuff like that to see what the body can take, what the degradation of the body takes when it's out in space because it takes a lot, man. It's not used to that type of atmosphere and
yeah,
that kind of environment. So they did a documentary on it too. So they
okay.
brought back the other twin, and they did more tests and stuff just to see kind of what it would happen on the body. Because I mean, you're comparing the same body essentially, same genetic makeup to see what would happen with all the genetics and stuff like that. But I think what would happen is that's when we kind of get into the DNA and the kind of what is it called, the CRISPR. I don't know if you're familiar with the CRISPR that they're creating, which is you put your DNA in there and they kind of change it around so you can add things into that DNA to kind of make your DNA a little bit more stronger, whether it's add gills or whatever. Um, yeah, it's. I mean, that stuff's out there, man. I mean, and I mean, people are gonna be like, "You're a
I'm
conspiracy
sure it
theorist,
is.
Albert." I'm not. I'm not.
Yeah,
But
I'm not saying you are. I'm not, and I'm not saying that isn't stuff that's happening. I just, I guess I'm more. I'd rather be the naive one to think like I have nothing to do with it. So I'll freak out the first time I see somebody with gills, but it's probably something that's gonna happen one day. Like, oh wait,
it
can I
could.
touch it? You know?
I know they'll probably be getting more play than me. I'm like, fuck. Now I got to get gills in order to like get a date.
Yeah.
Like, jeez.
Yeah. What
Just
underwater dates?
yeah. Just like in The Boys. Did you ever have you? Do you watch The Boys?
I haven't watched the full new season. I'm sorry, but yes, the he's got the things in his ribs and stuff. He's always
Yeah, and that girl's like all into it, and she like wants to like
yeah,
she wants to was it smash his guitar gills? You know what I mean?
she's trying to stick her hand in there, like
Yeah.
get away from me.
Um. Wow. So
Yeah,
we talked a lot about Mars and stuff like that. I mean, obviously, in any bar, they're probably talking about that stuff right now. Had the bars been open, of course. I'm
yeah,
sure.
because I mean, I'm sure, like had the bar been open, it would have been showing the landing
I
of
would have
Mars.
asked. I would have. You know.
Yeah, they would have put it on because the people would have been interested. If you can watch a high speed chase, you can watch Mars landing. The first thing somebody finds out there's a chase, turn it on.
Yeah. Or even better,
I've seen a head.
imagine later on in the future a high speed chase, but in Mars. You know what I mean? Like, whoa, those cops on Mars, man, they don't know how to stop these high speed chases.
My
Uh,
rover, yeah, my fucking my rover's flying.
high speed rover chase. The speeds got up to 5 miles an hour. Whoa.
Yeah, whoa, get back here.
Oh man. In getting ready to go to vacation, I got really into vitamin pills. So I've been so like getting into it. I bought some vitamin D just because I'm inside a lot, and I'm like, maybe I'm not getting enough D in me. I know. I know you know what I mean.
It was a setup. You set
I know.
yourself up.
I
You're not
know.
empty. Yeah.
And I got what else did I get? I got this thing called reishi mushroom, which is supposed to help with your immunity or your immune system. And then turmeric, and I got turmeric, which helps with your blood, and if you are a frequent urinator, as myself. Which is breaking the seal essentially, once because I'm like, man, once I break the seal, it's over. So I'm taking turmeric to see if that'll kind of cure that. And it has, in a sense, when I'm not drinking alcohol. Alcohol is like the one thing though
Yeah.
that once I break the seal, it's over.
It's like liquid Drano.
Yeah,
It's like
it's
it's come.
true. But what's your pill game like? What's your vitamin game like, David? Do you believe in
I'm actually
vitamins?
I'm actually on a 1 day pill. The 1 days, so the multivitamin. I'm doing the multivitamin. I take my normal allergy medicine, Singular Zyrtec. Uh, Annabelle and I have been doing uh, detox teas. So I've been more on the tea game. Been doing the tea game. Uh, so to try to cleanse my body and soul type of thing. Uh, but yeah, as far as other pills, I mean, I do the multivitamin only like just to kind of cover everything. I haven't had to really. I haven't taken initiative because vitamins are expensive.
They are.
Vitamins get fucking expensive. There was a huge sale that Annabelle and I found at Walgreens. They were doing like buy one get one free or buy one get one 50% off. I don't know if it's still going. But if your pill game is that, go to Walgreens. Go try to find some
My
cheap vitamins.
my pill game is not that. But everyone's like, oh, just buy it on Amazon. I'm like, Jeff Bezos has enough money. He doesn't need more money. So I just kind of went to the vitamin store. And it's weird walking around the vitamin store. That's become my new fascination, my new hobby. Because I walk around and I'm like, what other vitamins are out there? And I found a vitamin that is shark cartilage. And I'm like,
Yeah.
who would why is there a shark cartilage? What need does somebody, have that they have to have shark cartilage? It's
Well, what
weird.
does
Does
it
it
say it's
build
good
your
for?
own cartilage?
No. No, you would think, right? But I looked it up to see why people would do shark cartilage, and I'll tell you why. But you can only do 6 months of shark cartilage because it really like affects you. Um, and I
Any
had
more than that, you turn into a shark. You get
you
gills.
probably and I had it all queued up. Okay,
Maybe
what
to make
does
you a better swimmer. Babe,
yeah?
you should take that.
Okay, so shark cartilage is most famously used for cancer, including a type of cancer called Kaposi's sarcoma, obviously. That is the most common, and for people with HIV.
Really?
Yeah, for HIV infection. And it's also used for arthritis and wound healing and for the retina for your eye due to diabetes.
This somehow feels strangely familiar to like when they were whaling for whale parts and they had no real like, hey, this actually can benefit you, but let's just kill the whales. You
Well,
know,
I mean,
let's just
lipstick,
kill the sharks. Let's
lips,
just kill the sharks.
lipstick was famous for whales. You know what I mean? That's what they were using.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
And
Was it whale?
wax and whatever.
Was yeah? Whale blubber was like big for soap too, right?
yeah,
Back in the
Yeah,
day.
no, yeah. But at the same time, it was one of those like, it'll heal you, but we have no idea if it'll actually.
Well, that's why animals have gone extinct. Like like rhinoceroses and like their horns are supposed to make you vigorous. So it's like, all right, like I need a dick pill, so I'm gonna kill a rhinoceros. Like I think we need to cut back on the animals and all these like
Let's
so-called.
not kill the sharks. They keep balance in our lives.
yeah.
Well, it's like same as anything. Although shark is probably delicious.
But did you know that the sharks are the oldest living thing on this planet? They're
Because they're
old,
predators.
but they're older than the dinosaurs. They're older than the trees. They're older
Megalodon.
than
See,
us.
that I don't get. See, a shark, like, versus a water dinosaur, probably wouldn't have made it. But I get that the shark is the oldest because they're predators.
Yeah, and it makes sense because Earth was mainly water, so um,
Hmm.
it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
That's what I fuck with the water. I like the ocean is it scares me because there's stuff we have yet to find. Like we're exploring space, but we can't even get to the depths of the ocean because there's too much pressure.
Yeah,
You know, and there's stuff down there that like they found animals that light up. Like
yeah,
have you seen
glow in
those
the
those,
dark.
those fish that have little lights? Yeah, fuck, like dude, what?
Okay, Finding
What the fuck is
Nemo.
that thing? Yes, that thing is scary with those teeth. Fucking I'm not gonna try to go up against that shit. Those fucking teeth are razors. Like, oh, I'm gonna go
Okay,
to the
it was a
bye.
cartoon, man. It was a cartoon.
It's a
I,
real
I,
fish, though. It is a
I
real
know it's real
fish.
fish. I know it's real fish. But
I don't know. I'm not fucking with. I'd rather run with the bulls than swim with the sharks.
And speaking of swimming with the sharks, sports.
Sports.
Yes, yes, sports indeed. I found this cool thing
Oh, these
rating
segues.
NFL's most annoying fan base. I have the results with me. Okay.
is
And
it me?
well, I mean,
Did you say it was a you?
well, you're not in the NFL as far as I know. But I will say this. The Chargers are number 32. So we have the least annoying fan base, which I think is kind of correct. You know what I mean? Because we have no fan base. So there's like no.
It's probably because it's the smallest fan
Yeah,
base.
yeah. But
It's basically just me and Albert.
yeah,
So
I'll tell you the interesting one is David's the Browns. What number do you think the Browns came in?
Browns annoying fan base or like just terrible fan base.
Most annoying fan base.
Most what?
Annoying.
Uh, I'm gonna say the latter half of the top 10. So I'm gonna say 9, 10.
They're number 16, so they're the middle. They're the middle
Uh,
ground.
I was gonna say, Albert, remember when you were over here and he was going absolutely ballistic?
But that wasn't annoying. That wasn't annoying. It was just ballistic.
No,
So
that was
eh,
a little
no,
annoying.
no, that wasn't the Browns. That was Ohio State.
Oh,
Well,
my
if we
bad,
use
my bad.
college,
Okay,
Ohio
yeah,
State. Yeah.
just wait till you watch the Browns.
okay, now we'll do the top 10. Okay. At number 10 is
Wait,
Kansas City.
is there guessing? Is there guessing though? Like who's number one?
Yes, yes. But I'll go down and then we'll guess the top 5. But I'm just going to go
Okay,
through through.
I know who
Okay,
it is.
who do you think for the number 1? Well, you could take your guess right now.
Dallas Cowboys.
Number
Number two is Raiders, or
number
you can flip them. You can flip them.
Okay, number 9 is Washington. Okay, which the Washington football team, which I've never even seen a red or Washington football fan, so that was interesting. I was like, really, they're annoying, but whatever. Number 8, the Raiders. The Raiders.
That's way too low.
I know I know
That's
that,
way too low.
but I mean, this is a poll that the NFL took. Number 7, the Seahawks.
Mhm.
That makes sense. This is
Yeah,
one.
only because of late.
This one I didn't understand, which is number 6, the Packers. I don't know. I've
I would have put the number 3.
really I've never had an
Yeah.
annoying. Uh, I don't know. I've never had.
No, Packers fans, as being a Packers fan, we can get quite annoying.
Wait. Now you're a Packer fan too?
Yeah. See,
That's
see why she's annoying? Because
yeah.
she's
I
double
can't
dipping.
have more than one team.
She's double
That's
dipping.
right. You're one of those.
Uh,
Okay, now let's go with number 5. Who do you? Now we're gonna go in the top 5. We'll
top 5. I'm gonna say
number 5.
because it's hard to put them in order like that way. So I'm gonna say number 5 is the Eagles.
Annabelle, she there? No, I don't think she's there.
No,
Number
she's
No
gonna.
comment.
Okay, number 5 is the Saints.
Okay,
Okay,
okay, okay.
who do you think the number 4th most annoying team fan base?
Patriots.
You are correct.
Yes. See,
Okay, now with number 3.
number 3. Okay, this is gonna get tough because I know who my number 1 is, and I think I know who my number 2 is. So my number 3. Let me. I'm trying to play this in my head. I'm like really taking this in like high consideration. Okay, so the Saints. So number 3 is I'm gonna say the Eagles.
No. Annabelle, did you want to weigh in? Who
It's gonna be something ridiculous, like the fucking
No.
Dolphins. Like I don't know.
No, no. Although the Dolphins are number 25.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Well,
uh, number 3 is the Steelers.
They're my number 2. See, that was my biggest issue. They were my number 2 team.
By the way,
Uh,
if anyone cares, the Rams were number
sorry.
22.
Yeah.
The number 2 most annoying fan base.
they're still my team. I'm still gonna say the Eagles were top 5. The Eagles are
Yes, you
top
are
5.
correct. You are correct. And
Yes,
number 1, you are correct. The Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys. Yes.
Yes, you are
See,
absolutely
I
correct.
would have I would have said the Steelers are number 2 because they're always like, oh, we have like 7 championships and all the bullshit, But
Yeah.
So
Well,
so it's funny though, because that's two teams from Pennsylvania in the top three.
right. Right. And the winners of the Super Bowl, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they were number 13.
Because
So
they don't have a fan base.
yeah, well
They
now
don't have,
they do because they're the Super Bowl champions. So
yeah, no.
So they're
they
a bit annoying now.
yeah. Now, speaking of which, did you see the video of Tom Brady being drunk? Wasn't that amazing? And
I did.
throwing the Super Bowl
The
trophy
trophy, yeah, the Lombardi award
with a
from one boat
spiral.
to
He
another.
threw it to him like with a spiral. I'm like, is there anything this guy can't do? This is insane.
He it is, and I had this conversation with, or I kind of like small conversation with some friends of mine that I text, like we're in a group text for sports, and Elvin and some other guys.
Yeah.
So and I said, you know what? I'm not a fan of Brady, but I respect him being drunk because you know what? He won a Super Bowl. He's not out to be anybody. He was like a straight up just regular Joe. And I respected the fact that he was drunk and he had to get carried out by security. That was awesome to me. I go, you know what? Fuck yeah, do it. I didn't want you to win the Super Bowl, but fuck it. Just go out, do that shit. Get drunk. Be happy that you won and fucking bad guy.
Our last show was what, February 7th or like right before the Super Bowl, right?
Yes.
Right, right. And I know I mean we're like 3 weeks later, but your thoughts.
I hated the game. It was boring. It was like the first half was so much referees. Like the referees were too involved in the first half that it really changed the entire outcome of the game for me anyway. Uh, the second half, Tampa Bay dominated. That offensive line for Kansas City was horrific. It was like you and me blocking like 300-pound men. Like he ran for his life. The
He's
quarterback
saying
ran
it
for
was
his life.
boring. He was loud. He was super loud.
You know what? I'm not gonna watch sports with you anymore.
Yeah,
I'm
I'd
gonna watch
prefer not to. That was you were very, very loud.
Super Bowl. A Super Bowl is supposed to be loud. You're supposed to be into a Super Bowl.
Did you
I
like
get that.
the weekend's performance, halftime performance?
You know what? The sound was horrible. The sound was off. I think the show as a whole, it was okay. It was fine. I didn't have an issue with it. Like I think people are too opinionated about halftime shows. Like you're not out there performing. You're not out there trying to create something that's different from what's been done before. Uh, I just think that the sound was terrible. Had the sound been on like right, it would have been great. He's a great singer. I don't take that away from him. The performance was good for what it
Okay,
was. I've
well,
seen really better
that's where
performances.
like people are too spoiled. People are too spoiled because it didn't he pay a lot of money to have that happen?
He
So
did, but
He
it is the
paid.
lowest funded Super Bowl like freaking ever. And so he paid money to have that happen and people are too spoiled and going to judge every little thing.
he did, but to be fair, I'm sure the record company footed that. You know what I mean? I'm sure he didn't pay that much. I'm sure because it's all promotion and publicity and whatnot.
They said that he paid 7 million of his own money.
Oh wow,
So yeah, he paid 7 million of his own money.
jeez, 7 million. Oh my god, that's I don't know. I wouldn't do that. They'd be like, Albert, put in your own money. I'd be like, $50. Like I don't know. Like it'll just be me on the stage.
Yeah,
That's cool.
had they charged you $50, your name would not be on Mars.
I got that for free. Remember that. I got that for free. You
Yeah,
can too. I'll have the
that's
link.
like if you said you're gonna like instead of my cardboard cutout being at the Dodger Stadium, I was like, oh, you're gonna send my cardboard to Mars? Okay,
That'd be
I'm gonna
cool.
pay for the cardboard to Mars.
That'd be advantageous. Which, by the way, let's get into that really quick. With spring training finally about to happen, they're opening it up 25%. That's an Arizona thing. I wonder what's going to happen this year in the MLB, if they're going to open the stadiums up 25% or they're still going to do the cardboard cutout thing.
So I don't know about every stadium or every state, but I know that the Indians, they're in talks with the governor to allow 30% attendance to the game.
Wow.
Yeah.
30%. That's cool.
So yeah. So I mean, I guess it depends on the rollout of the vaccinations and how, this is all based on currently from April. Like by summertime, if everything gets handled, then we're back to open up. But I know, like I said, if Arizona's 25%, Ohio, Cleveland is 30%. Um, some stadiums are going to be more because their states don't care. You know,
Yeah.
their states don't care about their people. They just let them die in freezing weather, whatever.
They'll be on vacation, whatever.
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah, yeah, yeah. MLB owners are in Cancun.
Yeah. which I guess Cancun is great this time of season. That was the lost footnote in this. It was like
Yeah,
I guess Cancun
yeah.
in
My next vacation and my next February, I'm gonna be in Cancun.
yeah. What else is going on in sports? Hockey just started. I'm excited about that. I'm excited, but I'm not. See, sports for me is always about the bar because I don't have TV. I mean, I have TV, but I just don't have sports packages because the way the sports packages work, as far as if it's a home game or whatever, you're not allowed to watch it because it's in your local um, area. So we get blacked out and
Yeah,
we're not allowed to watch stuff. Now, had they taken that out, I would totally be buying all the sports packages so I can watch the Kings or the Dodgers or whatever. But because I don't have that, the gift and the curse of not having it is I got to go to a bar to watch it, in hopes that they have it. And of course, the Cove has all that stuff, and they're not
yeah,
open. But when they were, I'd be like, "Oh, there's a Kings game on tonight, and I got nothing going on tomorrow or whatever. I'm gonna go watch it over there." So, um, yeah, I missed that. I really wish that they would have just opened up all those sports and just let that happen during this time, so we can all watch that without the blackouts.
yeah. But but money rules everything. So
Right, right, right. I know there's a debate going on about Tom Brady being the greatest, but their answer to that is Serena Williams. And and those are again two very different sports. One's one on one, and the other is the team. And I get the one on one because I mean you have to be at your peak the entire time. Whereas kind of in sports, not necessarily you have to be on your peak, but everybody else around you, you got to build the right people around you. So those are two different and valid arguments for them both. What's your take on that?
um, I don't know. I mean, I think that people put too much emphasis on greatest of all time as opposed to just appreciating athletes for what they do. I think if we were to just end the conversation of greatest of all time type of stuff, I think more people would. Well, there'd be less arguments, but there'd be more people appreciative of sport. Like when you find, if you like, people who think Kobe is the greatest of all time, they hated LeBron for no other reason that people said that he was the greatest of all time. And people refused to allow that to happen, going, he's the best of all time. And if you just enjoy the fact that these athletes did spectacular things, I mean, you look at LeBron James. He has spent half his life in the NBA. Half his life has been in the NBA. He's played 18 years in the NBA. He's 36, and everybody's looking like he's the old man, and he's still performing. And Laker fans hated him, but now he brought him a championship, so now Laker fans like him. It's I think the GOAT conversation needs to just be removed and people just enjoy the game. Serena Williams has done an amazing job. No, no question about it. But she just got beat by, you know, the new up and comer who could, at her age, take over Serena. So are we going to say that Osaka is now the greatest of all time because she beat Serena? Or, well, you caught her in the late stages of her career, like they played in their prime, that whole conversation. I don't want to say who's the GOAT. I can just say who's my favorite player and who I think is an amazing player, and that's just me.
Yeah, yeah. Again, my opinion is just you could do it per sport, but not all around because again, those are all very different variables per each field. Um, so it's just different. So I don't mind having those, but as long as it's just within the field and if we went outside of that field and put a Serena and a Tom Brady, I think there you would have to put a handicap on that and be like, well, yeah, but let's
Yeah,
give a handicap with that because it's not. Those are two very different variables that we're dealing with
yeah,
that. Because I mean, you can easily put Tiger Woods in there too.
yeah,
For being the greatest athlete, and they're being like, well, is golf really a sport? Then you open up that can of worms um in that mix. Anything else that man, was there anything else that we wanted to talk about with sports? I know there was another deal and it wasn't the Rams and we talked about that the last time, but there was another
oh,
deal going on uh in the
Carson
NFL.
Wentz to the Indianapolis.
Yes. Yes. That's right. Yes. It's all coming back to me. Carson Wentz for the Indianapolis Colts, man, I really thought Philip Rivers was going to stay there. He did good with them, and they had all that good mojo, and they went far. And I was just like, why not give it another run? But Philip Rivers was just kind of, he already had his mindset on being a coach out there and coaching football. So more power to him. But I still think he should have given it one more year, he went pretty far. So, but Carson
Yeah,
Wentz,
but
what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, like for him, at least he went out on his own terms. Like he chose to retire instead of somebody saying you need to retire. Like you're done. You've had it. And he was like, you know what? I've had it. I could still compete. He did well. He took the teams to playoffs, but at the end of the day, his body is you know his body's gonna tell him what's up. Some people retire early. Some people say he retired late, but nothing wrong with that. He went out on his own terms. But Carson Wentz to Indianapolis, it wor- it, it works in regards to him being with his old coach because he's with Frank Reich, who was the coach in Philadelphia when they won. I think they won this one Super Bowl. So
Yeah, uh, I don't know. I don't know if Carson Wentz was the guy. Um, I'm still because he's the one that got hurt, and then they brought in that other guy who won the Super Bowl for him.
Jay Feely.
Yeah, yeah, and what has Carson Wentz done? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, prior to that, they were like 11-2, so it wasn't like he wasn't winning games, and that's his biggest downfall is he's injury prone. Like he can play the game in the right system, and that's what I'm saying is like he's going to a coach who's coached him before, who coached him winning. So I mean, Indianapolis has done well with any quarterback. They have a good system. It's kind of like the old kind of like a Patriots kind of feel like just plug and play. It doesn't matter who we put in here. But I do
Well, it
think
does.
that
Like it does
Indianapolis will
now. No,
put.
Tom Brady tore that argument apart.
Yeah, I mean, but they lost a lot of players because the Patriots never really pay anybody. They just kind of always let people go. But I think Indianapolis will draft a quarterback this year in the first round as their future because Carson Wentz is probably not going to be the future. He's going to be the right now, and then get a quarterback to lay back and learn under him or this and learn the system.
Yeah. Because we're on this football kick, I wanted to get your perspective. I saw this tweet. Was it a tweet? No, it was somebody. These two people were debating, and the whole headline was, "This is what happens when a football star tries to debate." Now, one person starts off, and it's not the football star. I'll tell you when the football star talks. Okay, he's used as an example, and it's you talking about the coronavirus, obviously, and it's 40,000 dead. Listen to the people who are educated in the field. Cuban communism versus free healthcare and free education. What's the difference? Right? So then another person says, what about this perspective? What would you tell this guy? And now this is the football player chiming in, and it says, zero offers, zero looks, zero commitments, zero time on campus, zero homecoming, zero prom, zero traditional graduation. What a wasted final year of school. Worked hard and dedicated for absolutely zero. And then it says, big shout out to Governor Newsom. You got what you wanted. So that's, essentially what's kind of happening right now in the world of football as far as the draft is coming up. Some people played, some people didn't. Even, dare I say, with high school sports, there were no high school sports in California. So because of that, I think that statement has to do a lot with that, and them
Yeah,
getting drafted. It's going to be an interesting college football for the freshmen going into next year, or this coming year, I should say. What's your thoughts on that? I know that was kind of a lot to process, but
I don't know. I mean, I I am a better. I'm a more safe than sorry person. I mean, we can. Everything's always hindsight, like what was lost, but it was what was saved. Lives, lives need to be saved more than sports need to be played. We appreciate the sports
Right.
being played. Whatever.
That's where people need to differ. Okay, so the usual prerequisites are like you said, Albert, like, this is the stuff that we look for. But hey, let's not look for that anymore. Let's look for what we can, given the circumstances, like we can't look for like actual physical stuff, which really sucks because it's sports. Like let's look for the coach's recommendation and the practice time. Like let's look for other things that can account for a person's competency as a football player.
yeah,
Am
yeah,
I wrong?
yeah.
No.
I do understand that sentiment because you know what was the football player's academics. What was he like there, because school isn't all about sports or homecoming. Those are just the coup de grace, those cherries on top, for people, but it's all about the education. You know what I mean? So I do think that in this next coming draft, or whatever that's happening with, as far as high school sports going into college, I think they're going to focus more on the academic side of these these
Okay, but
football players.
realistically, like academics is not enough. You have to talk to the coach. You have to talk to his players. Like you have to get down to the nitty gritty. It's not like you can see who they played against and see their games.
I get
Like
that.
they still train,
I,
right?
I do get that, but at the same time, I would like to invoke my Justin Herbert analogy of, he was a very smart guy and well astute of the game, and because of that, I do think he does have a good head on his shoulders. So him and his understanding, as far as academia, I think that is going to help propel more people and their
Well, but
learning
you're rooting for
ability.
the underdog in this scenario. Okay, so you're rooting for the academic smart person who would have gotten a scholarship any other way, right?
Right. Well, we don't know that.
Aside
We
from
don't
sports.
know that because we don't know what they would have done this season if they would have had a good football season. And I'm using football very loosely because this seeps into baseball and any other of the sports that people get drafted for, or not drafted, I should say, get scholarships for when going into the season, or going to college and furthering their career.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that because I actually follow a lot of the recruiting and stuff like that, especially football wise. Other sports, not so much, but all these people that are getting recruited, they were on the coach's radar sophomore junior year. A lot of them already had offers their junior year. There's very little that a senior is gonna do to change the perception of what they did. So if they didn't play, they're not. It's not so much a hindrance. It's just like, okay, well, what did you do in the off season? They get a lot of buzz before their senior year. Their senior year is just kind of like you said before, just kind of cherry on top. A lot of so they're not going to stop recruiting because they didn't play their senior year. They're still going to give them the offers, and they're still going to have a choice because they already had 30, 40 colleges on their jock before they even uh, became a senior. So if you look at it like that, them not playing sports wasn't so much the hindrance as you said. It's did they keep up with their studies, and did they train in the off season? Did they keep themselves, you know, pliable for the sport uh, instead of just like withering away because there was no sport? But again, that's because I do follow recruiting, and again, that's for football, but it pretty much works for all sports in high school. Everybody's already being recruited sophomore and junior year, if not earlier. So
Yeah, and it's definitely going to be an interesting. I had to open up another beer for this conversation, but it's definitely going to be very interesting to see what happens and what becomes of this recruitment class for sports. But did we leave anything else on the table for sports?
no, I think we're good with sports. I mean, nothing else is really going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that pour. Pour it out, buddy.
We're in a very interesting time um in sports because this is like, right after the Super Bowl. There is that lull between that and baseball and just kind of everything going on. I say I'm a hockey fan, but I'm a fan of watching it. I don't follow it per se. I do enjoy watching it, and I follow the Kings on Instagram, so we're Instagram official. Um, but uh, but yeah, so and it's barely starting too, so who could say whatever about
Yeah.
that, and tennis and all that stuff is gonna kind of slowly creep their way. But did you guys have any thing else that you wanted to say? Usually, before we get into the final cheers. Any
No,
last looks?
we're good. No.
All right. Well, that is gonna bring season 3, the opener. This was episode 99, and welcome into the new era of of drinks to words by.
Where's
Uh,
that?
super awesome, super dope. And remember, if you want to be super awesome and super dope, our 100th episode is happening in just a few days. Me and David are going live on our respective Facebooks. With this, we're talking about Instagram going live on our Instagram. So we're still trying to figure all that out too, because there might be some other um, engineering problems with that, with some of the stuff that we're doing. So just go ahead and log on to drinkswordsby.com. There you can.
Wait,
Yes.
What?
wait.
What?
I am the guest, the by surprise, taken to me by as well. Guest. So I have a topic.
Mm.
Oh,
Okay. All
okay.
right. Okay.
So, have you, in the past year since this pandemic started, well, almost a year, made any renovations?
Made any renovations as far as what, like?
Like to where you live? I mean, obviously you got the fridge,
Right. Right. I got the freezer. That was like I forgot when that was. I'm almost a year now with the freezer. Oh yeah, yeah.
but I feel like that's a big deal. Like a lot of people are making renovations.
Well, where I'm at too, I can't make rent renovations because I'm renting. That, yeah, that wouldn't really um do anything. I did, pick up my guitar again. As I did, as from what I've been told, I did do a private performance. Uh, from what I've been told.
To us.
Yeah.
The
So
behind the scenes that are never going to be seen.
yeah. There was that. There's of course building my recording studio that happened in last year, which made all this possible. Clearly, um, what else did I do? I think
I
that's.
think the recording studio is like a big one.
I mean, if it wasn't for the recording studio, a lot of this would not have happened.
Yeah,
So
but
that.
that's like your major renovation that's, I guess, allowed because you're renting?
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, of course, everyone's seeking this recording studio, but it's is like all this crazy stuff, but I've had all this stuff. It's just I never broke it
You
out.
put it together?
Yeah. I just had to put it together, and do it because again, all when I started doing this, a lot of it was very old school as far as like, oh, we have to be in a room together. We have to see each other, and because of that limitation, it bred creativity and it made me want to build this recording studio. And because of that, we were able to do the show, and I was able to kind of reboot my old shows that I was doing, and kind of be at where I'm at now, where it's like every other day, or every day I'm like working on, whether it's interviewing a band or having, drinks to words by, or producing the food show. Every day is I got something going on, or even if it's just editing. I finally got all my video editing equipment back.
Mhm.
So all those
So
things,
renovations.
yeah, yeah, or more improvements, and because when I think
Improvements.
renovations, I think household. These are more improvements to my life. But same goes to you guys. What improvements did you add to your lives?
Instapot. The Instapot. That's because again we have an apartment too, so it's I don't know. I guess more of my renovations were our decisions to kind of better ourselves. Like I'm trying to walk more and everything. I don't think there's much that we've done to this place. Annabelle, so you're just gonna ask a question and answer.
Yeah, which is that.
uh, yeah, I guess that would be mine. Is like the I've cooked more because of that, and I want to cook more because of it, and I'm always exploring different or looking for new things to make that I would never have tried before, because I mean it's so much easier. Um I do want to get like a stationary bike. I think a stationary bike would be good. Like a treadmill in the second story of an apartment. I think it's just too much banging, and I don't want to do that to my downstairs neighbor. But I think if we do a bike would be kind of cool.
Just get a regular bike, and then you could come here, and then we could just go biking around West Covina.
I don't want to do. Oh, you got kicked out. Oh, so do you have any reservations you want to talk about? No, you do fine. Cheers. Annabelle left. Unfortunately, she got disconnected from the conversation, so
Okay.
she's out.
She's out. Got it. Got it. Got it. Okay. So let's just get into the final cheers.
Final
Uh oh,
cheers.
but before we do that, I was in the middle of the commercial. Um yeah, so long on to drinks towards by guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we want you to be a part of the program. You are a part of the program. We love seeing your DMs. We love seeing your comments, and we want you to do that. And there's plenty of ways to do that. You can always just log on to drinkstowardsby.com, or you can go to the plethora of streaming partners that we do have. We're on Spotify. If you want to watch the show, check it out on YouTube or on iHeartRadio. So many different ways to watch us. We really would dig if you would subscribe to us, and from there you can listen to the show. We really appreciate it. And if there's anything that we talked about, make sure to go ahead and contact us, whether it's sliding in the DM on our Instagram, or sending us I guess an old-fashioned email. I can't believe emails are old-fashioned, but drinkstowardsby at gmail.com. There you can go ahead, and then we'll read it over the air. And if there's anything that you want us to drink or whatever, you got a question, go ahead, email us, and we will do that. We are on the Venmo, ladies and gentlemen. So our 100th show is literally the next show. So now's your chance to get in the sexy, seductive life that is Venmoing us money for this show. Our current tally, I don't want to brag, but is 0. So I don't know what that means. If you guys just don't care, which is cool, whatever. Or
Yeah. We're self-sufficient.
yeah, yeah, I mean, I get it. Times are tough. Times are tough. Wherever you're at, and maybe your house is freezing. I don't know. Maybe you just can't afford
Very
that Cancun
quickly.
trip.
Yeah, right. Can't get away to Mexico. Very quickly, for the 100th episode, we've actually contacted a couple of home businesses, some people who have started their own business on the side. We will be featuring some items of theirs. I don't want to give too much away. On the 100th episode, if you know anybody that has a small business that wants to throw a product our way, to for us to promote, since we're going to be live on a couple services. Just shout out to somebody's company that's trying to do something, anything like that. Let us know. We already have 2 going on right now, so anybody else, like I said, by all means, contact us on the several ways of contacting us.
Yes. So make sure to go ahead and check us out there. And thank you for tuning in. Now it is time for the final cheers. David, gonna send it out to you.
Cheers to all the people in Texas. Well, not all of them. But for the people who, yeah, some of you don't deserve cheers. To the people who struggled, to the people who lost their lives, the people who are getting screwed over by the energy company. Some people are getting like $7,000 bills and stuff. Cheers to keeping yourself safe and staying safe, and for people helping each other out. I know there was a story about a couple that took in a delivery driver who got stranded like in front of their house, and they took the person in for like 5 days. Cheers to humanity in that sense. When something like that happens, cheers to everybody coming together and making sure people are safe.
Cheers to them for sure. My cheers is gonna go out to another state, Arizona. Thank you, I guess, for having me. You are truly a different state. you know, and I mean that in so many different ways. But cheers to you guys. And I will say this though: the people there were very friendly. Even without their masks on, they were very friendly. So yeah, that was again, that was an interesting way to step outside your comfort zone. But I may visit you again, Arizona. You are a hotbed of activity, and thank you again. So to you, Arizona. And that's it, man. That's gonna conclude this. By the way, this is our final episode in which we are double digits. After this, we're only going
Triple
triple,
digit.
triple digits, baby. And thank you guys for being a part of that. I mean, this wouldn't happen without you. I mean, it would happen without you. Let's face it. But I mean,
It has happened without you.
yeah. Clearly, our Venmo account knows it's happened without you. But again, if you want to Venmo us, we just add drinks to words by, and for all information, drinkswordsby.com. There you can Venmo us or whatever. I'm not trying to guilt you guys. I'm not trying to guilt you guys, but
Yeah,
thank you again, and we will see you at 100. And until then, the bar is closed. I think that may be our new tagline too. The bar is closed.
the bar's closed. That's actually not bad. We'll play.
Right, right. David, kick him
Yeah.
out. No, no, I need you to kick him out
Yeah. Get my flashlight. All right, time to go. Bye, everybody.
later. We're out of here.